And we're live. Hey guys, got with me today Fudd, and I've got Chuck with me. Lyle's had a previous engagement somewhere else, and Brian's sick as a dog, so I've got Brian and Fudd with me. Chris Wallace, if you don't know him by Fudd. But we're going to touch over a few things today. Nothing long and drawn out, but boat safety. And we're going to turn it over to Fudd.
Hi, everybody. All right, yeah. This week, some of you may have seen Jason Bridges with the Wheeler Cats Guide Service. He talked about how he went out fishing for some bait, some shad, throwing the cast net, and front of his deck was pretty slippery. And while throwing the cast net, he slipped right into the water. And at 42 degrees, no life vest on, he was pretty much getting sucked down. Had only seconds to grab onto the boat, managed to fight his way to do it, pull himself up. Luckily, he had one of the ladders on the back of his boat that you can get in and out of the boat on. Came back, posted about it to let everybody know that you just can't do things like that, not have your life jacket on, not going out, by yourself in the winter. And just boat safety is really something to take serious. You got to respect what the boat is, what the water is to you. I mean, it can take you in a heartbeat if you're not respectful of it. So, we're going to do some of the tips and things to help out with what you need to do, some tips to do it and make it easier. Let's see what we got here. If you're on a boat with somebody that's not necessarily your boat, you want to make sure that you know where the life jackets are. Don't be afraid to ask. If the boat's moving, put it on. I know a lot of people are real bad about doing that. They just don't put it on, or if it's a big orange bulky one or something like that. I do it myself at some points, but at the very least, you want to have it very, very close at your feet. Like, I will step on mine sometimes and just have it attached to my foot or something like that. I would more recommend you just wear it. And if you can, today, now they have the life vests that are very thin, barely even tell that they're on, and it's something that's comfortable to wear all day, even over a coat, under a coat, whatever. If you got kids with you on the boat, make sure that you're watching them, that they know, not to be running around on the boat. That especially if the boat is moving, not to get up or move around. Just some general safety things for them. If you're on any water that you're unfamiliar with, don't go flying down the lake or the river if you don't know it. You don't know that there might be some stumps or rocks or something. So just take your time, be safe.
Just to break in here a second, there was a deal here about a year and a half ago, I think I posted, and they were flying across the water, and they knew the lake,
Yeah.
and they got flying across there and hit one of them stumps, flipped the boat, and both of them died. They found them the next morning, and neither one of them were wearing their life jackets at all. And from one side to the other, it's not even a quarter mile. And young people should be. And there wasn't any alcohol involved in it, but um, they knew the lake, and they were just sailing across there and flipped the boat, and both of them died.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like I said, you gotta respect the water in the lake and use common sense. And it doesn't have to be a large body of water. It can be a body of water that just especially with kids involved. I mean, if anytime I take my children on the boat with me, they have a life jacket on at all times. They're my kids. That's the way I think that any kid should have a life jacket on if they're on the water. But Yeah, I mean, if it's your boat, anybody that gets on it, give them some rules. Let them know they have to follow them while on your boat. Children, adults, just let them know the rules of the boat. Try to keep everybody safe on your boat. You're responsible for them. Alcohol and boats don't mix. A lot of incidents with boats happen with alcohol involved. Just don't do it. That's pretty simple there. I mean, if you're out on the water, you don't really need to be drinking. It's you'll get a DUI just the same as driving a car or truck or whatever.
And you're jeopardizing everybody's life that's in that boat.
And other people's lives. So CPR, in on the water, CPR is something that you definitely want to know. It's something that could very easily save somebody's life because most of the time, any body of water that you're at, it's going to take a while for any ambulance, any emergency vehicle to get to you. So if you can do CPR, you might be what keeps that person alive. And so if you can learn it, take a class, watch it online, do an online training course. There's lots of ways that you can just learn it and have that peace of mind. Be aware of your weather. So if the weather's if you think there might be some bad conditions coming in, try to plan accordingly. Keep if you can get a weather radio for the boat. Have a VHF radio for just in case anything does happen. You might be able to call out for some help there. But really just being aware, trying to prepare for the weather conditions that is forecasted. Always let somebody know where you're going to be at. What body of water, where you plan to be on that body of water, if you can. And if you're not back by a certain time, so that they have a place to start looking at. So normally give them a time frame of when you should be home, so that way they also know when to start looking. I already talked about life vests, but another thing that a lot of boaters and people on the water don't use and utilize is the kill switch on their motor that attaches right to your throttle. And pretty much, like Paul was talking about, if you're on a small body of water or a large body of water, you don't have that kill switch attached to your vest or body, whatever. You hit a stump, you go flying out of that boat keeps going. And I've also heard stories of where that boat actually turns and might even come to run you back over, and it'll just sit and run in circles on you. So if you have that kill switch, it's most of you know them as the red coily cable that attaches right there, and it'll the other end of it attaches to the person on the boat. So that way, if they get thrown overboard, anything like that, it yanks that thing out of there and shuts the boat off. That's something that is way, way underutilized, and it really should be used a lot more. And I need to do it myself a little more. So, one last thing from me on the boat safety. Well, a couple more things. Anchoring. Anytime you're anchoring in a body of water with a current, especially with a current, you do want to have a knife up near your anchor rope, very close, easily accessible. I've seen many times where I was anchored up and a large tree was coming right for me. And if you go to pull that anchor up and it's stuck and you can't pull it out, if that tree hits that rope, it can pull the whole front of your boat down and under the water in a matter of seconds. I mean, you need to be prepared for that and can't be looking for a knife if you see that thing coming too late. So if you always have a knife, either you can Velcro them, like put the double, sticky-sided Velcro on both sides of a knife and like the side of your boat up front, and then one on the back. You'll always have it there, and it won't move anywhere, and you'll have it easily accessible. Now, when I talked about, Go ahead.
I would have never thought of that,
Yeah.
or the reasoning for the knives. That makes sense.
The last thing that I guess I would talk about would be when I just talked about Jason Bridges falling in the water. As soon as I read that, I thought, well, is there anything out there that could have helped that? I came across a Canadian company, and it's called Arctic Armor. You may or may not have heard of it. I never had until I found it, and it basically is a warm jumpsuit that, like a jacket, pants, that is made with a material that is buoyant. And it's buoyant to the point of it can hold, I think it's a 280-pound man above water. And then if, say, two other people were to fall in the water as well, they could hang on to that man and it would still stay buoyant with three people holding the
Oh,
man.
hell, I'm drowning. I'm 300 pounds, man. I'm drowning.
Yeah. But
Don't
yeah,
they call that a Gumby suit or something? I know they got something like that on.
yeah, but I mean, this one, what you're thinking of probably is very large and not very easily worn and comfortable and everything. The company Arctic Armor has made it. It's a very thin material. They have like 3 versions of it where it has 1 layer, 2 layer, and 3 layers, and I believe the more layers, the more buoyant it is. They if you were to go to YouTube, you could just type in Arctic Armor, and you will see the videos of them, just standing on the edge of the dock and falling in wearing it, and they just float. It's a pretty, and you would think, yeah, sure, it's nice and everything, and it's $400 for a suit or something. It's really not. It's not bad at all. I want to say it's like anywhere from $70 to $90 for the pants or the jacket, and you can buy both of them, for under $200, right around there. So, and they're warm, from what I could tell. They're warm, buoyant, something that, if you're not even wearing your life vest, it would still save you if you fell in. Most people, anyway. So I think the website for their, and I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, but they're, just like I said, one of the things that I looked up when I seen that he had fell in, what is there out there might help somebody. And their website's www.idigear.com, and it seems like it'd be a pretty nice product. So if anybody is looking for something like that, they want something to be able to wear on a boat that's not super thick and can't move around, but it's warm and comfortable, and might save them if they ever did fall in, that would be something to look at.
Yeah, because I just imagine hitting that water and then having to make that ride all the way back to your truck and.
Yeah, I have a story about that myself. I had a boat. I had a boat out on the Ohio River, and we had tied up to a wall, and it was pretty cold. It wasn't summer or anything. It was cold water, cold air outside. Matter of fact, there was probably foot whitecaps out there at the time. We went to take off, and my buddy was on the front of the boat, and he's a big guy too. He was holding a rope that was tied to that wall, and I put the boat in forward gear, and for whatever reason, I guess the linkage in my motor had came off for forward gear, but when I put it in forward to go forward, it actually shot me in reverse. Well, when it did that, of course, he was holding that rope on the wall, and it basically yanked him right overboard into the water. And I took the boat out of gear and ran up there and grabbed a hold of his arm. I mean, about as fast as you could see a fat guy move. So I grabbed a hold of him, got him over to the bank. He had, soaked clothes on, freezing cold water. All I had was my trolling motor to get us back up to the creek and get to the ramp that we were at. So it took us a good 45 minutes to an hour to get back to the ramp. And now one of the things that I always do as well is bring a spare set of dry clothes with me, and I have it in the back of my truck.
I could have told you that. Been there, done that a couple times too. Sean pull up forward and me fall right out of the damn boat. You got anything to add, Chuck? You're awful quiet over there.
Um, I was going to talk about hooks and having kids in the boat. What I do, the little foam earplugs you get that don't have the cord on them, I keep some of those in my boat because you can't watch a kid every second, and they'll start swinging around them number 10 circle hooks and number 8s and stuff. Just stick that earplug on there about halfway. If they hit it hard enough, it may go on through and get them, but more likely it's just going to swipe right by them. But if that point barely gets a hold of them, it's going on in.
Yeah.
And also always check and make sure the cutting device you have in your boat will cut through the hooks that you use. Some of these eagle claw hooks and these owner hooks, a lot of these hooks are real tough, and regular needle nose with cutters and regular dikes will not cut through these. You have to have a pair of lineman pliers or something. So if you do have a hook that you got to push on through and cut the end off of it to pull the hook back out or whatever, make sure that you have something in the boat that'll cut the end off these.
Get a little bitty set of bolt cutters.
Yeah, well, I got some lineman
6s and
pliers.
10s are pretty tough.
I got some big electrician lineman pliers, and you'll be surprised how hard you got to squeeze them before you can cut that hook in half. They're pretty tough. And myself, I wouldn't want to be out there having to make it all the way back to the truck and then drive somewhere to get a hook out when I could have got it out of me. And also, I see a lot of guys that keep their fire extinguisher back in their bilge, and that's really not a good place to keep it. You need to keep it on the front of your boat, because if there's a fire, usually it's going to be in your bilge or at your boat motor, and you're not going to be able to get your fire extinguisher.
Yeah, I think here the fire extinguisher has to be easily accessible. It can't be in a compartment of any sort. It pretty much has to be open in the boat somewhere.
I think so.
But yeah, that's both of those are the hook thing with the earplug. That's really good because I know kids like to swing some poles and want to cast it themselves and whatnot, and I've seen that hook come real close. I'm glad I've not got caught with it, or they haven't got caught with it.
Well, another thing you might want to throw in there with animals and kids, kids are going to get into everything. And here, let me add him back in here. Bounced out of there for some reason. We're going to send it back to him. The one thing that I've had personal experience with was cats. And I had my fishing poles and stuff. We came in back when I fished with liver and all that garbage. And left the liver on the hook. And we had a cat that was named Stupid. And he managed to knock the poles down and get the hook in his mouth. So I ended up having to go to the vet and spend about $60 or $70. But the same thing with kids, man. You got to keep that tackle away from the kids because it don't matter how many times you tell them. If you're not around, they're going to go looking. And I've run in that too much and finally just got to where I lock my stuff up. But there's just a lot of things, if you think about it before you do it, you'll find a reason not to do it. But other than that, I think it's pretty well all for the safety thing if y'all ain't got any more on that part.
No, just use common sense. Keep everything that you're supposed to have in your boat, like whistles and flares and anything like that. Keep it all ready. Keep a first aid kit in your boat. There's lots of people I've heard that don't have that, and that's something simple that you should have.
Yippers. I can't wait till I get my flare gun. I may get in trouble with that. May have to just stay with a whistle or something. That would get me in trouble. You know, they sell them in Walmart.
Yeah, I've seen them.
But yeah, that'd be fun. So anyway, I just said I ragged you. What's anybody up to and all that good stuff. Hello.
What's that?
Oh, I was trying to figure out what y'all have been up to, or kind of a little BSing before we stop it.
Yeah, I've been up to a few things. Some people may have known recently I posted on my Facebook account that I just got taken on as field staff with Humminbird and Minn Kota. I feel real honored and proud that they decided to take a chance on me, and I know they're not, as far as I know, there's not a lot of people that they've taken on in the catfishing world. They're real big into the, the bass tournament guys and everything, but I've talked with them for almost 3 years now. Kept up with them every single year and just let them know that I was here and I purchased their products. I use their products anyway. I got permission even when I wasn't part of their team at all to use their logos on my jerseys. And this year they finally put me on, and I'm real excited. I can't wait to be able to get all the new gear and check it out and be able to do videos and tips and help people with anything that I can in regards to.
So when you make
features.
your first million, you help a brother out, right?
Yeah, when I make my first million, I'll probably be helping lots of brothers out.
I go Chuck over there. He got him a sponsor too. He'll drop my name in the hat there. Yeah.
Yeah. Besides that, with me,
Chuck might not be able to hear us.
I hear you.
Oh, okay. You just ignored me then, ain't you?
Yeah. I was looking at that bait you got hanging on the wall back there behind you.
I think it's
That
catfish.
thing, that thing is a catfish. It actually talks.
Is that a catfish at all?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hang on here a minute. I'll get here in a second. What are you looking at? Got any worms?
I think he unplugged his mic.
Yeah.
I just embarrassed myself saying that.
No, actually, we couldn't hear anything because you unplugged your mic.
Oh. Yeah, I know where my talking fish. Justin got that for me. He's my right hand man getting everything loaded and all that stuff for me because I can't really do it myself. So he loads up all my equipment and makes sure I've got bait and all that stuff, and then goes out fishing with me. And if I get into trouble, he's right there. So got to do that when you're disabled. Everybody sees me jump in a boat and think that I'm all right, but there's a lot more to it. 9 times out of 10, I get in the boat before it's ever backed into the water. I've took a dive once, and that's something I don't want to do again.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how that gap kind of gets wider between the boat and the deck? Dock. Yeah, I had that happen once.
As far as the other stuff with me, if you guys have seen pictures where I decided to make a website, and it's basically a just for fun website. If you've seen the pictures of somebody holding a catfish and that catfish does the dance on them and you get that picture snapped right when that picture does the dance on them, or right when that catfish slaps the crap out of them in the face or whatnot.
I got one of those videos where Danny's big old catfish slapped him right in the face.
Yeah, I'm creating a website called catfishkungfu.com, and it's going to be
All
just
right.
it's
So
going to
now
be
you know you're going to get a clip, right?
yeah, it's going to be just for when them fish decide to do their kung fu for the camera, or just to slap somebody or whatever, and just for people to look through photos and rate them. And I might give away a gift card or something for the top rated photos every 6 months or a year. But it's just going to be a fun site, just to look at pictures of the catfish doing their dance and doing their kung fu. And
Well, you ought to see if that's available. Catfish Kung Fu.
oh, it is. I've got the
Yeah.
domain. I'm working on it right now. I'm getting the logo made. I'll have it up and going. You could probably go there now and just see the general gist of it, but it's
I would
not
like
ready
to
yet.
get. I would like to get something made like you have on your jersey, like a cartoon picture of myself.
The caricature.
Who does that? Do you still talk to them, or you do it, or
Oh, no. I paid somebody to do it. I think I used to be in a crew. We called ourselves the Muncie Catfish Crew, and I had the guy, do a caricature of all three of us in a boat catfishing, and I want to say I paid like $100 for it.
wow? Yeah, but it's something you can always use.
Yeah,
Could
I
you
kind of
imagine
liked it.
making a cartoon? Be like a
I
white
can.
fat Albert.
Yep, I can see it now.
Come on, Chuck, you're too quiet over there.
I'm just getting pumped up. I got a little tourney tomorrow, and I'm doing some strategy in my head. And then if I got everything ready, I got to get the boat hooked up here in a minute and pull out about 3 a.m. I got about a 2-hour drive.
Where's that at?
And then, it's on the other side of the Alabama state line, up on the Upper Coosa. It's above Weiss Lake. There's a small little tournament up there, and it's the same spot that they're going to be having a Bass Pro Shop Big Cat Quest tournament the first of March. So I just see this as a good opportunity for me to go up there and do a little pre-fish for it. Just a little.
Wasn't there some kind of issue going on in the Coosa? Something I can't remember what it was about. It had to do with catfishing.
Yeah, a bunch of guys catching a lot of big flatheads and taking them out of the river.
That's stupid.
Is this a stretch of river you fished already before, Chuck?
The one up in North Georgia, I've never fished that stretch before, so this is something I need. I'm gonna get up there and check it out and see.
You've been sitting on Google Earth checking it out for days on end, like I do.
I viewed it a little bit, and luckily, Weiss Lake is one of the lakes that they let down to a winter pool. They let it down about 5 or 6 feet. So Google Earth right now is the photos are from winter time scenarios, so I get to see really what the water's like in the winter. Actually, most time you'll go and it'll be different than what it usually is, but I've been looking at the Navionics a pretty good bit and, mapping some stuff out. Where we're putting in Georgia, it's 2 miles into Alabama, which Alabama's got the 34-inch rule where you can't transport any catfish over 34 inches across state lines. So you can go fish over in Alabama, but if you catch anything of any size, I won't be able to bring it back legally. So I'm just going to stay on the Georgia side and fish. It's a 3-fish tournament.
Weigh in over in Georgia too?
Yeah, we're putting in Georgia, and the weigh-ins in Georgia.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yep. Well, I don't know really anything
I just
else.
want to see how this the Bass Pro Big Cat Quest does it when they come up, because we have had some tournaments that border 3 states. Even the waters border 3 states, and some guys have went on into other states and have brought across, 34-inch catfish and weighed them in another state before. Tennessee and Alabama both have a 34-inch no transport law, and even though you can use your fishing license in a state agreement like on Pickwick Lake that border Mississippi, Tennessee, and Alabama, it don't say anything about transporting the fish across. It just says you can fish the water. So I don't know if you can bring the fish across because you hold a fishing license or what. But I heard to go by the strictest states. What I've always heard.
That's one way to keep you out of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice if Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, and all them would follow suit with some of them states down there for the Ohio.
They will eventually.
We can hope.
Missouri gets statewide. There's not hardly any ramps over here at all. So they get that 34-inch rule for the river and stuff over there. It's going to knock the hell out of some of these Illinois commercial fishermen anyway, because they won't be able to transfer that fish from there to over here.
Yeah. Oh, one last thing real quick is I just got back from Cumberland City for skipjack fishing. 3 guys of us went over there and we each caught our limit for the most part. We probably caught over 400 skipjack, but we were tossing the bigger ones back, and we kept our limit of 100 per person. So they were in there pretty thick at Cumberland City Power Plant.
Yeah, if I knew these guys was being down there and I had a little heads up, I may have showed up. But I admit this year we didn't do anything going down there. So.
What will they charge you for an 8-day a 1-day license there? It's like $10 or something.
I think a 1 day is $10. Yeah.
I thought it was $8.
That ain't bad.
It could be, but I know if you print it out online, they charge you a fee to print. Like I think my 3-day license it's supposed to be $16, but they added a $3 fee, so it was $19 to do it online.
For doing it online. Yeah, it's the easiest way to do it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad price for skipjack when they're selling it for $5 for a styrofoam cup full.
And that's even like up here, way up north in Indiana, you can't even find it in any of the places around here. So you get down to somewhere right on the Ohio River, you're paying $3 to $5 per skipjack.
I get caught using it anywhere other than the Missouri and Mississippi, I'm screwed.
I hope this year to figure out moon eye and start having fresh moon eye on hand if I can. That's the catfish candy up here.
You talking about moon pie?
Moon eye, gold eye.
That Big Dave like them moon pies.
Yeah, and banana moon pies.
All right, so we're going to cut the live broadcast. Y'all take care, and until next time, if you ain't fishing, you ain't living.